like you're stuck in life and you are putting all of the things you're supposed to be doing into play, but you're still not making progress in your health, in your finances, in your business, and more, this content is for you. Today, I'm going to break down and give you the one and only method you need when it comes to personal transformation and reality creation. This method, 6-step process I'm going to walk you through, has taken me years and thousands of hours to learn and test and try. But I am telling you, I am bringing this full circle. So if you want to learn how to shift your identity, break the habit of being yourself, get out of your own way, and start living your full potential and have all of the health, wealth, abundance, love that you seek, let's get started. Here's what I want to share with you today. It's the idea of the EMBODI Method. This is my framework process that I've come up with on my own. But I want to walk you through these steps. And seriously, what has taken me years and thousands of hours, you are going to learn today, however long this takes, but definitely in less than a single hour. When you apply and implement what I'm teaching you today, you will get out of your own way and become unstoppable. So let's start with the first letter, E. When it comes to personal transformation and reality creation, you have to understand at a fundamental level the universe in which we live in, and it is energy. So E stands for energy first. We live in an energetic universe, so let's talk about universal laws at a very high level here. The idea of law of vibration, frequency, and energy. And there's an infamous quote from Tesla that says, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. But I want you to understand this from two different aspects. You as an energetic being and the energetic universe in which we live in, because this is about co-creation. So energy first is where we have to start. Energy first. This is the strategy. This is where your focus has to be. And what I mean by this is your state of being. So let me break it down. Based on your state of being, your identity, you have created every result in your life. And your state of being, your identity is only made up of 3 things. It is your habitual thoughts, emotions, and habits. So thoughts, which are the first domino in reality creation. This is where everything stems from, your thinking mind. So thoughts, which then create your emotional states. And finally, your habits, you have to take action. So these 3 things have created your current state of being. So I want you to pause here and understand that most people are stuck in a low vibrational, low limited mental state, keeping them stuck. So for example, I have to work harder. Hustling and grinding as your strategy is doing things backwards and is not going to get you anywhere. If you have the mentality, I have to work harder, I have to struggle, I have to effort, I have to hustle, and I have to grind, it actually is repelling the thing that you want, because you're coming from, when we get to your state of being, you're coming from lack, scarcity, fear, limitation, not enough. So when your energy is based in lack, fear, not enough, and I have to struggle and effort, you're not matching the frequency I will get into of your desired end result. So you literally repel and will continue to push away the financial freedom, the love, and the success that you seek. So energy first. This has to be your first strategy point. This has to be the foundational level when it comes to personal transformation and reality creation. So this is where you must start. Energy first. This is, think about it as your state of being. When you are in a clear intention, you know where you're going, you have forward focus. When you have these elevated emotions in which you have confidence and certainty and knowing and conviction, and you are taking aligned actions, that is how you create the reality that you want. But this is the first step. So there's a misnomer out there in personal development, strategy, hustle, and grind. Strategy actions are a very small part of the pie until you get this. And I know from personal experience, for example, when I started in entrepreneurship, I spent a lot of money building a website, strategy, brand building, figuring out my business plan. So I was so focused externally. I was so focused on strategy, but I was coming from a shitty state. I was coming from self-doubt, procrastination, imposter syndrome, not feeling like enough. So that state of being, it didn't matter what kind of strategy I had lined up. That energy was never going to create the results I wanted, and it didn't. It literally created $0 in my bank account. So I'm telling you from personal experience, get the inside right first and the external will follow. What this is really telling you, there's a hermetic principle of correspondence. As within, so without. That life is a mirror. Your current external reality, the money in your bank account, your physical health, your happiness, your success, are only reflecting your internal state. Your current results are reflections of your state of being, of your energy. That's why this is the foundational first step to creating change in your life. Energy first. If you are new to this and you want to fast track and not take years and thousands of hours like it did for me, I do provide one-on-one coaching. I will include a link below, but I also invite you to visit my website, heatherhakes.com, and apply so you can fast track and get from where you are to where you want to be. Let's move into the second one. Now that you understand energy first, energy is everything. Your state of being is the strategy. Let's move into the second framework. All right, the second step, using my EMBODI method, the M is about matching the frequency. So this is where I want to bring in quantum physics. Hold on just a sec. Matching the frequency. You understand that you are an energetic being and we live in an energetic universe. When it comes to reality creation, when it comes to manifesting, this is what you have to understand. You have to match the frequency. So here's what I want you to think about. Think of yourself as a radio station. Whatever your thoughts and emotions are at, you emit a frequency, a vibe. You've heard this before. So based on your thoughts and emotional states, you emit a frequency. So let's just say 93.3. That's a local radio station here in Denver. Based on your thoughts and emotions, you emit a frequency 93.3. But let's say the reality you want, financial freedom, abundance, success, happiness, health, wealth, love, let's say that frequency is 101.1. So how do you get from where you are, 93.3, to the reality you want, 101.1? You can understand that when we're talking radio frequencies, it's about tuning to that station, tuning to that frequency. How do you do this? How do you, an energetic being, match the frequency of the reality that you want? Let's explain how you close this gap. Understanding quantum physics at a high level, Einstein once said, the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. We live in an energetic universe. Everything is frequency. This is your current reality, 93.3, but this is your desired reality, 101.1. So I want you to know, when it comes to manifesting, you are not creating anything new. Your job is to match the frequency of the end result of your desire. So that's why the first step to manifesting, you have to get clear on what you want. You can't be vague. More money. Well, you could find a penny on the ground and that is technically more money. You have to get clear. What is the frequency of that radio station? What is the dollar amount? What is that experience that you want? What is the home? What is the relationship? Whatever it is that you want, you have to be clear so we can tune to a specific frequency. So when it comes to that quote I just shared with you, the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. Again, most people are down here in the 3D plane trying to make something happen. You're doing it from the wrong plane. You're doing it from the wrong dimension. Let's go to where all potentials already exist, the quantum field. So let's see where we can fit this in. You know what? Let's just fit it in over here. This is obviously very not to scale, but if we call this the quantum field, where all potentials already exist and everything is frequency, how do you get from 93.3 to 101.1? Your job as an energetic being is to get clear on what it is that you want. When you get clear on what it is that you want, now you know that 101.1 is here, is already a frequency in the quantum field where all potentials already exist. So now you know, because you've desired it, you've imagined this, whatever the thing is that you want. Let's use money. You are clear on the dollar amount that you want, and that you understand that it's all energetics, it's all frequency. So how do you, a physical being, connect to the frequency in the quantum field? That is such a great question. Thank you for asking. So here's your job when it comes to matching the frequency using the EMBODI method. You, as a state of being, just like what we just shared with energy first, you have to get clear on what you want. That's the thoughts. Then every potential has an emotional frequency, because it's not that you want money. It's not that you want a partner. It's not that you want home. You want the emotion it will give you. You have to understand that as well. So understand that frequencies are this emotional vibration. When you get clear on what you want and you are living from and sustaining that emotional state now, it's already done, and you are sustaining and maintaining that frequency. The how and the when, never your job. When you get clear on the what, here you are, in the middle of where you are to where you want to be. You got clear, I want 101.1 frequency. And you maintain and sustain this energetic frequency of already having it, feeling as though it's done. Why? Your mind does not know the difference between imagination and reality. We know this from professional athletes. Any GOAT, any phenomenal professional athlete mentally rehearses, visualizes, and imagines playing golf, running the plays, maybe in football, catching the touchdown. If they're a track or a marathoner, they see themselves running through that finish line, because your mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. And when you're doing this, maintaining and sustaining the frequency and the vibration, you are literally, through neuroscience, building the neural networks as though it's already done. And then, beyond your capacity, things will happen, serendipities and synchronicities and opportunities. Things will happen in which the frequency, now this is a wave of potential, the wave of potential, quote, collapses into a particle, and that's what we experience in 3D. So when you are matching the frequency and maintain and sustain, here's where most people get tripped up. You get clear on what you want, the dollar amount, but it doesn't happen overnight. We don't get that instant gratification, and if you don't have the instant gratification, guess what creeps in? Doubt, fear, worry. It's not going to happen, and then you continue to repel it. That's where most people get tripped up, in this change between one frequency to the another. They mentally wobble, doubt, fear, it's not going to happen, impatient, frustration, and they fall back to the old frequency, repelling what they want because they couldn't maintain the frequency. I'm telling you, that is your only job. Maintain the frequency. And this is not about fake it till you make it. It's embody it until you experience it. So that's what manifestation using the quantum field is all about. You matching the frequency. Now let's go on to the third step here. Again, I know this may be a lot, but I've created a ton of content on all of these different foundational pieces. So I invite you to go watch some of my other videos. But I also am telling you to replay this, because every time you listen and watch it, you're going to catch on to something new. And I am making this as practical and tangible as possible, because I want you to understand the foundational principles of personal transformation and manifestation, and it doesn't have to be complicated, but you do have to apply these principles. So we understand energy first, and then we have to match the frequency. What's next? B is all about belief. Believe beyond logic. What does this mean? I will explain. What I mean here by you have to believe beyond logic, your mind craves certainty. Your mind wants the known and the familiar. And just like what we talked about in the idea of matching the frequency, If things aren't happening yet, you will default unconsciously, but you will default back to the known, even if it's not where you want to be. This is where self-sabotage comes in. You are not consciously choosing to sabotage yourself, but the mind wants certainty. The mind wants familiarity. So even if you're miserable, stuck, overweight, broke, at least it's known. So what you have to do is, when you're about matching that frequency and getting clear on that next level of you and those things that you want to manifest and experience, it has to be beyond logic. And the real word I want to bring in here, when you believe beyond logic, that's why you have to connect to the quantum field where all potentials already exist. What I'm really telling you here is one word. You have to create certainty. Why? Because someone who is certain knows that it's inevitable. Someone who is certain is coming from a frequency and a vibration of knowing. The universe loves certainty, and when you can match the frequency and maintain, and you have belief beyond logic, you don't care how, because it's none of your business. You don't care when, because you know it's done. When you live from this state of being certainty, I am telling you the how and the when, like you just get to live in an unending state of surprise. Let the universe surprise you. And I love this. I love being surprised. I trust in the unknown and I expect the unexpected. This is a mindset shift I have and that I live by. Let me say it again. I trust in the unknown and I expect the unexpected. By having that mentality, trusting in the unknown removes fear and doubt. And when I expect the unexpected, I have so much certainty in knowing that it's going to come my way. And I have been surprised beyond means tons of times, because this is the reality that I choose to live from. So this is the third step. You have to believe beyond logic. You have to embody certainty, because a certain person becomes unstoppable. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is about owning the identity. What do I mean by that? Own the identity. Now, as I started this one, that your state of being creates an energetic vibe, and then by your thoughts and emotions, you emit a certain frequency. Life is all about reciprocity, law of attraction. What you put out, you get back. What I often say is life is a boomerang. What you put out, you get back. Remember, your state of being is creating your reality. So where you're currently at, that 93.3 isn't exactly the reality that you want to live. You want 101.1. So what I mean here by owning the identity of 101.1, right? Because that's the new frequency that we want to live on. When you own it, this is, again, it's not fake it till you make it, but you have to act as if. How would the 101.1 version of you be thinking? What would their thoughts be? They won't have doubt. They won't be frustrated. They won't be impatient. They won't be living in fear and lack and scarcity. So this next frequency of you, that reality that you want, how would they be thinking? What are their emotional states? So here, you would be living in confidence, again, certainty, but you would be living in joy. You would feel empowered. You will feel grateful. And when you are living from this state of being, this emotional state, it naturally raises your vibration. And based on your thoughts and emotions, whatever you're thinking and feeling, you emit a frequency. That's how you collapse waves to particles, quantum physics 101. But this is your job. You have to own the identity. And I am telling you, I promise you, on your journey from 93.3 to 101.1, you are going to come up against challenges and obstacles. Things are going to happen. You are going to feel like you're being tested. And that's what people talk about in this industry, is the universe is testing you. No, The universe is responding to you. But here is what's happening in this period from one frequency to another, from one identity shift to another. So what I coach my clients through is creating version 2.0. There's nothing wrong with where you're currently at, but it's not the reality that you could be living. So in order to get out of your own way, in order to move from one frequency to another, you have to own the identity. So in this period in which you're going from one to the next, these challenges and obstacles are not testing you. Here's what is happening. It is giving you the opportunity to respond or react. That's it. So that's what's really happening in this bridging the gap. You have two options. You can respond and continue going forward, maintaining that new identity, maintaining these higher levels of thinking and being, or you can react. Fear, doubt, worry, feeling frustrated, impatient, stressed out, and the reaction is going to keep pulling you back to 93.3. Every time you knee-jerk react, you're going to keep going back, keep defaulting. And that's what happens to most people. Most people, although they want to change, this becomes too challenging. They're not able to overcome the mental wobble and they default back forever. I have literally spoken with individuals who feel like they're drifting through life. Most recently, it was over 5 years, but I've spoken with somebody who's been stuck in this state of being for more than a decade. So I don't want you to be there. I don't want you to get stuck in that. But I want you to understand, in this journey from one frequency to another, from one identity to another, you can respond or react. When you respond, you are owning that future version of you, that next level of you. And I am telling you, your job is to embody it, maintain and sustain this frequency, this state of being. And that is how you collapse times. This is about collapsing timelines, quantum leaping. This is how you do it. So your next step here, you have to own the identity. You have to overcome the mental wobble. You have to overcome the addictions to those emotional states of lack and scarcity. And they're literally addictive emotional states because you've been thinking and feeling one way for so long that you have to, it's a death, a dissolving of the old self to step into the new self. I don't want this to scare you. I just want you to know what's going to happen while you're on this journey, and you can overcome it. You can do this, and this is the steps to do it. So let's move on to this next one. This next is about declaring it's done. Now I sort of touched on this, declare it's done. I sort of touched on this, but why? This kind of goes back to bringing in the idea of certainty. When you declare what you want is done, when you declare that the 101.1 frequency is yours, that reality is yours, this is impressing on your subconscious mind that it is true. It is creating so much certainty and knowing that you will have no choice but to step into this, to experience this. But you have to declare it. Now, I want to touch on right now why affirmations on their own do not work. When it comes to mental programming, we have the idea of what I talk about often, two minds, your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. So the reason why affirmations on their own don't work is because you're only using 5% to try to override 95% your subconscious mind. So affirmations are very surface level. And for example, you can proclaim and you can affirm, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am a millionaire, but you're broke or you're barely getting by. Your subconscious mind, who knows what's really going on, feeling unworthy, have a poverty mindset, will repel and reject that affirmation because it does not match the programming. So affirmations take forever to reprogram, and that's why I'm telling you what we're really going through in this EMBODI method is about rewiring. When you rewire from a state of certainty and knowing and you declare, then you bypass, this line here is your analytical mind. You bypass the analytical, logical mind. That's why I said belief beyond logic. You must create certainty. You bypass this, and now we are impressing on the subconscious mind what you want to express in reality, which is connecting to that new frequency. So again, this is declaring, it's that conviction, it is certainty, it is knowing the money, the lover, the success, whatever it is you're seeking, it's yours. And when you live in this idea of excited anticipation and gratitude because it is done, that is how you manifest reality. All right, I'm excited. We're already cruising through this. Now let's move into the final piece. I have shared a lot today, and I will bring it full circle, but I highly recommend you go back through and watch this because this is full of golden nuggets. I'm not just saying that. I truly mean that. This has taken me years and thousands of hours to truly understand, to apply, to integrate, and to experience in my life. So let's, final one, I. I is all about initiate with intention. What do I mean by that? The idea here is it truly comes down to you have to understand this is a long game. Reality creation, you're on a journey. There is no destination. There is no quick fix. There is no surface level thing that's going to get you there. But when you understand you're on a journey and every single day is a gift, initiate with intention is all about daily disciplines. It's about aligned actions. So aligned actions, but most importantly, it comes down to daily disciplines. And that's why I've broken this into a simple 6-step process. The EMBODI Method, I am telling you, will get you from where you are to where you want to be. When you initiate with intention, every single day, you're initiating actions with intention because you have energy first, you're matching the frequency. So intention is about that state of being. You're being very mindful and intentional of your thoughts, emotions, and habits. When you stay mindful and intentional through daily disciplines and aligned actions and you follow these 6 steps, the sky is not the limit, your belief system is. I'm going to wrap this up with a simple statement for you. When you apply what I have taught you today, when you understand it's an energetic game, as within, so without, that your internal state creates your external reality, you become unstoppable. Put these steps into play, and then you will understand the game of life and how to play it. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you're the first to know when new videos drop. And give me a thumbs up. I'll catch you on the next one.